Twins of Reddit, what's your embarrassing story involving your twins partner? My husband has an identical twin. When my husband and I got engagement photos done, Facebook automatically tagged my husband's brother in a bunch of our photos, and I posted them without realizing. I went to a funeral of a friend's father. I had no idea that the deceased had an identical twin. It felt really strange to see the guy in the coffin, sat at the front row of the church. Must have been even weirder for him. Was going down an escalator at a casino. Look across and see my brother. Get the excites and yell, "Hey bro." Start waving for his attention. Was waving to myself in a mirror. I did almost the opposite of this. Sister and I, close to identical, stood on opposite sides of what we each thought was a mirror staring at the reflection. I'm not a twin, but dated one of two twin brothers in high school. The other twin also had a girlfriend at the school. One day, someone in my class pulls me aside to nervously tell me he thinks my boyfriend is cheating on me. He was fairly new at the school and didn't know yet there were twins. It gave us all a good laugh when the story got around, and the guy was pretty relieved to hear there was no cheating going on. Okay, but shout out to that guy for seeing what he thought was a bad situation and taking immediate action on it. My twin brother died in a car wreck and my family suggested that I should date his girlfriend because grief, I guess. Real awkward, mom. That's a messed up thing to say. I tried to date this girl from class and we were going out on dates and everything. But out of nowhere she stopped talking to me because her friend saw me with another girl, my twin sister, at the movies and thought I was playing her, but they didn't know I have a twin sister. My ex was once scrolling through FB and said, "You look really hot in this photo." It wasn't me. My sisters are twins. Their favorite story is when one of their boyfriends tries to show the wrong twin this weird ass mole on his butt cheek. Both sisters are extremely squeamish. So boyfriend thought it was just her being grossed out. Unfortunately, my dad walked in on him chasing the wrong twin around the kitchen with half of his butt hanging out. My dad just turned around and walked out. Dad's friend is a twin. Lives in Chicago. His twin brother lives in Boston. On the same day, both twins fell off a ladder and broke the same leg. Hospital be like, "Didn't we just fix this leg?" Not embarrassing, but my twin sister is dating a guy that friend-zoned me. At least he isn't going just for the looks. Start dating his dad. That'll show them both when you're his mom. I was with my twin brother at the supermarket this one time, and judging from this story I'm guessing that obviously we look the same from the back, but not exactly the front, because I'm a female. My brother's girlfriend was shopping at the same store as us that day and comes up behind me and smacks my bottom saying, "Hey love." Jokingly I turn around and say it back. My twin brother is gay, so early in high school before people knew he had a twin I was groped by a gay man. I feel like if you are dating or interested in someone, you should probably inform them that you have a twin. There's a lot of unnecessary groping in this thread. This story is so prime, and I'm so excited to tell it. I used to do musicals. Like singing, dancing musicals. My brother came to a performance and was at the greeting line afterwards. He goes up to the lead actress in the show and says, "Great job, congrats, what a show," to which she responds, "Oh, I wasn't in the show, actually it was my twin sister. But you were fantastic," to which my twin brother says, "I wasn't in the show either." My grandma and her sister were twins. Her sister was going to be a nun, so couldn't be involved in any affairs. Some guy asked the sister out, who sent my grandma in her place, tasked with ending the date poorly. I'd like to say there's a funny ending, that the guy's my granddad, but he's not. He's just some random dude. I'm not a twin, but my mum and aunt are identical twins. As they've gotten older I think they are more distinguishable, but from behind most people think they look exactly the same. My aunt and uncle were round for dinner and my aunt was in the kitchen preparing some food when my stepdad came in, hugged my aunt from behind, and kissed her neck. All my aunt said was "Wrong, sister." Everyone thought it was hilarious, but my stepdad was very apologetic and embarrassed for a long time. LMAO. Not a twin, but I had a pair of teachers at my middle school who were identical twins. They tended to dress similarly, and I spent a lot of time confused as to how they could move around the school so quickly, until someone told me there were two of them, and that they were twins. My mom is an identical twin. She and her sister were always dressed alike, and hated it, so one year for Halloween my grandpa took my mom costume shopping, and my grandma took my aunt. When they got home they were so excited to show each other their costumes, but when they came out of their room they were wearing the same thing. Years ago I dated a twin out of a set, who often didn't get along. They went to the same college, started out in very different majors, both ended up in EE. By graduation they were dead set on leading separate lives, so they didn't tell each other where they were interviewing. First day at his new job several states away, my twin was shown to the cube where his desk was. 6 feet away sat his brother. I fancied a twin in high school and couldn't realize why in one class she spoke to me yet in another didn't know what the fuck I was on about. It took me 4 months and just bumping into them both on the walk home, and I literally went, "There's two of you." My college roommate did this to me for months. I'd run into him on campus, tell him something, and he'd never remember talking about it. Came home and there he was with his identical twin brother who lived in another dorm hanging out. Never said a word about having a brother or a twin. They thought it was hilarious, while I beginning to think I was imagining these conversations. Dated a twin on and off for a while. In middle school, I would get a call from my boyfriend. We chat for a bit, and then he'd have to go, so his brother could have his phone time. These were the days before cell phones. Then we'd hang up, and I'd get another phone call a minute later. From my boyfriend. Turns out the first call was from his twin brother. Boyfriend would get pissed. He tried that a few more times. Then I learned to tell their voices apart. My grandpa has a twin brother, and they look nearly identical even now in their late 70s. My mom told me that when I was a toddler we were at a family reunion. Apparently my grandpa was holding me and talking to my parents, and then his twin brother walked up to us, and my reaction was to say, stunned and wide-eyed, "Two grandpas." My dad is an identical twin, and he and his brother went to the same university, both majored in engineering. Apparently they used to take tests for each other, depending on who was most comfortable with the material. I work with identical twins who are entirely nonverbal, with an identical diagnosis, and have almost identical names. Similar to Aubrey and Audriana in closeness. This is my 4th year with them. I still don't know which is which. I usually just say both names when I'm telling a story and say I don't know which one it was. My little brother and sister are twins, and both of them have multiple flat spots on their heads, not noticeable through their hair. This is because, before they were born they would headbutt each other inside of my mother. The doctor said a lot of the kicking she felt were actually headbutts. He tried to date me and get away with it, while dating my sister at the same time. When I was a baby my dad was supposed to take my brother to a doctor's office because he was sick, and he took me instead. My dad realized that it was me and got my brother to the doctor's. Turns out he just had a cough. My twin brother went out to pick up some wine and his girlfriend, at the time, came over and thought I was him. She was probably really horny, but without hesitating she began to kiss me, and it took me by surprise, to the point where I was frozen in shock. I was about to get her off me, but that was when he walked in. I too have seen that porno. Not embarrassing, but my geography teacher has a twin brother, and when he left a few people without a grade, meaning they had to take summer exams, A few of the kids gathered and broke his twin brother's nose and gave him a black eye. They were pretty surprised to see him the next day without a scratch.